All right, good afternoon. Lots of heavy rain the past several days, and now we're feeling the impacts. Rainfall is now decreasing, but the water levels are rising. We'll let you know which rivers are going to be cresting here soon.
The White River here in Anderson is still rushing as it hit historic highs earlier this morning. We'll give you a look at the city now.
Also on this Friday at noon, we're learning more about the suspects in that Indianapolis jewelry store robbery. We have the charges the suspects are now facing after they took off with over $2 million worth of cash and jewels. From Anderson to Noblesville, we are seeing some major flooding impacts after days of heavy rain here in central Indiana. This noon hour on Friday, we have team coverage now in both of these areas as we're hearing from officials and residents about what's happening and what comes next. Roadways completely are blocked off and waterways continue to overflow. So we're going to take you live to these locations in just a minute. But first, we want to check in with the forecast and what is coming next with Matt. So these storms over the last couple of days, they've been extensive. We've seen this overflowing of the riverbanks, and it's caused harm to property and to homes. Then we see this forecast of there being more rain. And so the big question is, with this extra rain that's coming in, is it enough to lead to a second crest or to simply just slow the receding?
And I think a lot of folks have had that concern. We think it's just going to slow the receding. I'll give you an example. In Anderson, we thought it was going to be a big spike and then it'd be dropping off quickly. We're seeing it drop, but it's only a couple inches every hour rather than a couple feet per hour. So to your question, it's just prolonging the flooding, but we don't expect another crest. There are more rain chances on the way, and that may continue to slow down the progression. What is big this hour right now is that the Noblesville River forecast, the White River, has been upgraded to 23.5 feet. The last time it was this high was 1913. And quote from the National Weather Service, many evacuations are necessary, unquote. Right now, it's at 20 feet. Here's the White River, flows right through Noblesville. The new forecast has it peaking just after midnight at 23.5 feet. And once you get to 23.5 feet, there are different thresholds of what will flood. And so at that level, just a few places. For example, Riverwood, Clare, Trail End areas will be underwater. The southwest side of Noblesville over by 4th Street will be underwater. East 96, 116th, 122nd, 126, and 146 will also have water damage. The commercial district is expected to flood, plus the wastewater treatment plant will likely be overtaken by water. And with the upgrade in Noblesville, other rivers are being upgraded too. Here's Noblesville specifically. You can see the record, 23.8 feet. We're expected to hit 23.5 feet. If we hit that, we're going to talk about more evacuations. And this is something that may be news to some folks in Noblesville. You're getting the notification. Yes, you need to evacuate, and please listen to those evacuation orders. It's thanks to all this rain. We're talking about additional rain, but this wave coming into Noblesville and eventually Indianapolis is due to the rain that already fell. Plus, the forecast got upgraded because we picked up, Anne Marie, about 5 to 6 inches earlier this morning. And so that's also making the White River down towards Indianapolis at 71st Street, reaching major flood stage later tonight and tomorrow. We need to send it over to Noblesville. Samantha Johnson has the latest on the flooding there.
Well, Matt, I can tell you it's not actively raining here right now. It does get windy from time to time, but we are on State Road 19 just west of downtown Noblesville, where it has been closed since overnight. Take a look and you can understand why. As far as the eye can see, this is just under water. You can see the park sign in the distance almost completely submerged at this point. And we understand State Road 19, again, up until at least the Aquatic Center, if you're familiar with this part of town, underwater and closed. Safety is the biggest priority. It's impacting homes, it's impacting businesses. If you take a look to the left here, this is a business. This is Swartz Trailer Sales, the bait shop that's down here too. All morning we have seen him going and essentially rescuing these trailers because there is a small pond just on the other side, and it is now washing away trucks and trailers. You can see that one U-Haul truck teetering. There's a tree behind it holding it up, but I heard the guys here say if that water gets any higher, that truck is gone. So a tow truck just arrived here on the scene to see if it could essentially rescue this trailer. Businesses doing what they can to embrace for again, waiting for the crest of the White River here in Noblesville. We are joined by Noblesville Mayor Chris Jensen. Thank you for being here. I know it's been a busy morning so far. Kind of walk us through the biggest priorities as of right now.
Well, you mentioned earlier, public safety is priority number one. That's our job, is to keep people safe. We have many, many roads closed in Hamilton County. We have floodplain plans that are being activated currently. We want to keep people, if they can stay home, but please stay out of the water, stay away from roads that are closed, and communicate with us if there's a need.
Noblesville schools also closed.
Yeah, Noblesville schools did. You got to think about not only, luckily our schools aren't necessarily impacted the buildings themselves, but you have bus personnel, drivers, you have teachers that live in rural parts of Hamilton County that were just simply not able to get to school this morning. So certainly the right call to keep kids home today.
We're waiting on the White River to crest, expected to approach record levels. What do we do now?
Yeah, so we have a floodplain area in downtown that has had plans that we update annually. We planned for this, we trained for this, and now we're executing. If we get to a certain level, we will offer voluntary evacuations for folks in and around that area. We're implementing those plans as we speak. I know our fire department and emergency EMA are up in Riverwood, which is a community just north of Noblesville, voluntarily evacuating folks that live up there as well. Public safety is job number one. We got to keep people safe off these roads and out of the water.
And Noblesville Mayor Chris Jensen, the sign here behind us is obviously for the U-Haul trailers. It says stop, do not enter, but it feels appropriate for State Road 19. If we can show you a closer look now, you can see that water as the tow truck gets set up, just rushing from left to right, from the ponds to the waterways, all the way to the White River as this continues to rise here in Noblesville. Something we're going to continue to keep an eye on here. We will be here throughout the afternoon checking in with officials as we continue to wait and watch to see what happens here in Noblesville. The guys here at the live bait and tackle shop were telling me they haven't seen it this bad since 2003, and unfortunately it's only going to get worse. Like we mentioned, not raining at the moment, but since we've been here, the water continuing to rise. We've now seen debris and trash that's been floating through with this water as well. This guy working on the truck, there are also 4 trailers in that area that are at risk of being swept away. Again, water from the White River going towards the trailers there and potentially into a pond just behind that area. So, Anne Marie, a lot going on here. The folks at the bait and tackle shop told me they're keeping one of the U-Haul trucks handy in case they need to load it up with the merchandise inside to leave this area. Certainly something you don't want to have to plan for, but they are planning. They've got the plan and they're prepared. In fact, they even made a little makeshift boat if they need to be out on the water again today. So that's the latest from here in Noblesville. Of course, we'll continue to watch what's going to happen here as they try to get this out of the pond. Anne Marie.
All right, Sam and Mayor Jensen, thanks so much. Yes, we're seeing that Sutton's crew there work their way to make that retrieval there. Of course, the best advice is better safe than sorry. If you have things to evacuate, get on it right now and stay out of that water. It's contaminated. We don't know what's in there, and we want everybody to be safe. Sam, thanks so much. We'll check back. In the meantime, one of the areas that also was hit hard here in Indiana is north and east of Sam's location. That's over in Anderson. That's where the flooding reached a record level, and that crest happened this morning. The waters now are starting to recede in this Delaware County neighborhood. Great view there from above. Now the hard work of recovery. That work is now just barely beginning. Ella Rhodes is in Anderson, where she was able to have a conversation with the mayor there about it executing on their plans for a situation like this. Ella.
Anne Marie, like you mentioned, the water here from the White River is receding. You can see it over my shoulder. I mean, it's still rushing through. It hit record high levels at 24 feet when it crested, and it is slowly dissipating. But this area is still very much hit with flooding, and you could kind of just see it all as our photographer and I are going to walk down the road here. You could see a trash can floating here on the side. Behind that trash can, you could see 2 cars stuck in the water. We're going to keep coming down here a little bit more so you can see it a bit better, but these 2 cars were absolutely trapped here, and the water is up to the rear view mirrors in some spots, and there's a whole lot of debris. This is right off of the 8th Street bridge that is still closed down, and we'll show you why it's still closed down, because there's plenty of flooding off of the road here. We're about to approach Milton Avenue here, and you can see all the debris, more trash cans floating here as well. Take a closer look at all of that. Now, we did just find out recently that the Indiana National Guard is here in Anderson, helping out with rescues and first responders. And we do know the Lafayette Police Department is also here. But I want you to hear from a gentleman named Joseph who's lived in the area for 30 plus years, and he's never seen anything like this.
I've never seen it this bad. I've seen it rise before, you know, all the time, but never, since I've been here, never like this, never at all.
So I want to show you, if you can come back out live to us. Earlier this morning, someone from the city sprayed a watermark here. I'm going to try to find it for you guys. Here it is, right here. Patrick, zoom in on this. See this black mark? They spray painted this around 10:30 this morning. Now the water's gone up to here. This is right on the 8th Street Bridge. So even though the river water is receding, you can still see that the water is still moving into the streets here. This is 8th Street and Milton Avenue, and there's homes back here that are absolutely flooded as well. People can't get to their homes and see the damage. You'll hear a little bit from someone who lives over there. And I also want to show you, this is floating by. It looks like a giant mat. You can just see so many different things out here as well, but it's going to take some time for this area to recover. And Mary?
All right, thanks so much, Ella, reporting live for us right now in the Muncie area. We do appreciate it, and please stay safe as you're working out and about and gathering information for us as well.